You know, in cultures all over the world, that final night of the year, it just has a special kind of magic. But what happens when a really ancient, intimate family tradition slams into the power of mass media? Well, today we're going to look at the fascinating transformation of Chinese New Year's Eve, a night that has evolved in ways you might not expect.
For literally centuries, this night was all about one thing: family, huddled together, waiting for a new beginning. But then, in just a few decades, that quiet, personal ritual, it morphed into something totally new. So how does the world's biggest family reunion actually evolve? Let's dig in.
Okay, to really get this, it helps to start with a little contrast. Most of us are familiar with the big public blowout of a Western New Year's Eve, right? Think of the ball drop in Times Square. It's a massive spectacle. But traditionally, in China, the whole vibe was much quieter, way more intimate. It wasn't about a public countdown. It was about a private family tradition of just being together and staying awake through the night.
To understand just how massive the change was, we first have to get a handle on the foundation, and it all starts with this ancient tradition of staying up. The tradition is called shou sui, and it literally means to guard the year. The whole idea is to stay awake all night long, to see the old year out and welcome the new one in with your family, kind of protecting each other as you cross that threshold into the new year.
What's so amazing is just how long this has been going on. I mean, we have records of all-night New Year's parties from 1,500 years ago. Originally, the idea was for families to huddle around a real physical fire, partly for warmth and partly to ward off this mythical monster called neon. Fast forward to today, and that fire has been replaced by a screen, but that core idea of family togetherness, that's still there.
So before a television became the centerpiece of the living room, what did staying up all night actually look like? Well, it was this rich mix of incredible food, games, and some really deep symbolism.
Food was, and still is, absolutely central, but what you ate really depended on where you were from. In the north, the big climax of the night was making and eating dumplings, or jiaozi, right as the clock struck midnight. In the south, the focus was more on a huge family dinner earlier in the evening, often with things like sticky rice balls.
And this is where it gets really cool, because the food is so much more than just a meal. It's like this amazing, delicious wordplay. The word for fish, yu, sounds exactly like the word for surplus, so eating it is a wish for abundance. Chinese cabbage, bai kai, sounds like 100 kinds of wealth. And those round, sticky rice balls, their shape symbolizes family reunion. You're literally eating your hopes for the future.
And beyond the food, the night was just packed with other stuff to do. You had firecrackers, which actually started from an ancient practice of lighting a fire to scare away evil spirits. Families would play games like mahjong, they'd tell stories, and sometimes a coin would be hidden in one of the dumplings. Whoever found it was supposed to have good luck for the whole year. So for over 1,000 years, this tradition was this collection of private, family-specific rituals. But then came a single year that would change absolutely everything and create a whole new, shared national experience.
That year was 1983. This is the moment right here when the ancient tradition of shou sui was basically redefined for the modern age.
So what happened? Well, China's Central Television broadcast the first ever Spring Festival Gala. It was this massive, live, 4-hour variety show. And almost overnight, this program became the new center of the entire evening. It took the private act of staying up and turned it into this huge, unified national ritual centered around the TV screen. Maybe the best way to think about it is like this. The television broadcasting the gala became the new digital bonfire. So instead of millions of families huddling around their own little individual fires, you suddenly had the entire nation gathered around one single electronic fire, all sharing the exact same experience at the exact same time. But this doesn't mean the old traditions just vanished into thin air. Not at all. Instead, they just merged with the new, creating this really cool hybrid New Year's Eve that's celebrated today. The celebration now is this fascinating blend of ancient customs and cutting-edge tech. It's a world where the most important family meal of the year now happens right in front of the country's most watched television show.
If you break down a typical New Year's Eve today, you can really see this hybrid model in action. The big family feast is still the heart of it all, but watching the gala is now almost as important. And brand new digital traditions, like sending virtual red packets of lucky money on your phone, have become a massive part of the evening.
And this is the perfect example of how the gala went from just something you watch to this huge interactive event.
During the show, the host will announce a red packet grab. And in that moment, hundreds of millions of people all at once will scan a QR code on their TV screen, shake their phones like crazy, and try to digitally grab some lucky money. It's this wild moment that unites the whole country in one single activity.
So what does this all mean? Well, this evolution from a quiet family gathering to a national media event, it's fundamentally changed the very definition of what togetherness means on this special night.
What this all really highlights is just this massive shift in scale. Togetherness used to mean physical presence, sharing warmth around a small private fire. Now, it also means being part of a gigantic shared media experience with hundreds of millions of other people. The private has totally merged with the public.
And this leaves us with a pretty deep and final question. As our private family moments and mass media get more and more tangled up, and as our lives are just filled with screens, what does it really mean to stay up late together? What's been gained, and maybe what's been lost? It's definitely something to think about as this ancient tradition keeps on evolving.